Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. Today is December 26th, 2017, and my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. I want to wish you the best for the season and hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I know I had a lovely Christmas. I spent Christmas Eve with my family, and we opened gifts Christmas Eve, and then we went out to Disney Springs, which is the shopping village that has had many incarnations here in Orlando, and now it is called Disney Springs. It used to be the marketplace, it used to be downtown Disney, and we used to call it Disney Village when I first started going there 20 plus years ago. So anyway, it was a lovely time. It's a lovely day, but it's rather chilly here. I think I'm kind of like the rest of the country. I'm in a cold front. It's 57. So for us, that's really chilly. I mean, the high today is going to be 74, and 74 to me is sweater weather because my body is so used to the 95 degrees that happens in the summer. Well, I shouldn't say so used to it. I'm not a fan of it. And that was my daughter. If you heard a loud bang, she dropped something. Anyway, welcome to the show. We're going to be going over the coming year. We're going to be going over the planetary influences. I'm going to tell you out of the gate, there's a lot to cover. I don't know how many calls I will be able to take because I'm going to be going over a lot this week. I'm also going to be going over it next week and discussing some more of what's coming up because it's a big year. Honestly, I'm going through before the show, I went through a lot of the aspects and was looking at what was coming up manually. You know, I don't have anything that says, hey, this is what it is until I get a planner, and I haven't gotten the planner yet. So I'm kind of just doing it myself, which is okay. But there is a lot to discuss. So I'm going to do my best to get to most of it today. And what I don't finish today, because I would like to take some calls, I will get next week. And I actually was going to do the show around the Great Purge, which is really kind of going to happen with Pluto and Capricorn, and also a lot of aspects coming up this year with Earth energy. But we'll get to that next week. And this week we're going to go over a lot of what's happening in the aspects, and I'll try and get to what that means for the sun signs. Again, it's a 2-week show, so we'll get as far as we can today, and we're not going to stress over it because, hey, it's a new year, and I don't really want to get stressed out. I'm trying not to. Anyway, I am going to tell you that there are a lot of aspects that are coming up, and it's in Earth. A lot of energy is coming into Earth this coming year, and is at midnight. It is right now. I'm looking at the chart right now. I'll give you a quick flyby of what's going on in the planets currently. And then we'll go into what happens at midnight because that is the ingress of the new year. And I'll kind of go over that. And then we're going to go over what the planetary aspects are month to month and what energies are influencing us. And I'll try and give you, as I go along, which signs will be affected most by those. And if I don't go specifically sign by sign, I will get to that next week, but that is part of the show. I know everybody wants to know what's going on with their sun sign. And to qualify that, even though the sun sign is a very large energy in your life, everybody has all the planets and lights, the sun, moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars. I guess I'll just list them up. Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn. Everybody has all those in their chart. So when I say a specific sun sign, it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't other aspects that will affect you directly as well, because you have a rising sign, you have clusters of planets in different signs. So those will be triggered, which is always why it's good to get a personal reading because I can only give so much information in a general sense, and you can glean from it. But to specifically answer your question, you either have to talk to me live on the show or get a reading. So, okay, let's get right into it. So we have today here in Orlando in Eastern Time Zone is an Aquarius rising, 13 degrees, the South Node at 15. Neptune is in the first house at 11 Pisces in trine to Mars at 10 Scorpio and Jupiter at 16. We have Moon at 7 degrees Aries today, squaring Saturn at 0 Saturn at 0 Capricorn. Venus at 1 Capricorn, she just went in. Sun at 5 Capricorn, he just went in a few days ago. And then we have Uranus at 24 Aries, and he is about to go direct. He is going direct. Again, I have tables. I'm just qualifying this a little bit because I don't have my planner yet for the year, but that is coming very soon. And in the meantime, I have an ephemeris. I have a couple of ephemeri. And so Uranus will be going direct. This is a big influence. A new year, Uranus moving direct. It's been retrograde for about 5 months, and now it's going direct within days, within about a week. So we're going to see this week a coming shift of that energy around drive, around masculinity, around understanding the truth around our own masculine urges and our drive. And it can, because it's Uranus, the nature of Uranus, the unexpected, it is going to make an unexpected change that will affect weather. It's the beginning of the year, so hopefully everyone will be back by January 1st because it's probably going to bring some unexpected inclement weather. It may bring another fire event in Uranus, unexpected, and its wind in Aries, which is fire. So I'm looking for that strong potential this week. I haven't really looked to see what's going on with the plant or with the fire, so I don't know. I think they've been somewhat contained, but I don't know if they'll burn. And I didn't necessarily speak about this. I may have last week, I remember, but I went away to Hawaii, and when we were coming back through LA, you could see almost an hour and a half out, all the smoke coming out of that whole area. So definitely my thoughts and heart go out to California and all the fires going on there. But definitely with Uranus changing direction, it's wind, it's lightning, it's intensity, it's storms, it's upheaval. In Aries, again, it's fire and air, fire, lightning, and Neptune is, again, Mars is approaching a trine to that, which can bring in water. So, let's just say it will. It's a time of year. Snow's going to happen. So there's probably another storm brewing. I haven't watched the weather, but I can tell you by the end of the week, it's definitely going to be there again. So, Uranus moving in from retrograde to direct, always you have something happen, which we just had this big storm. It goes direct and we relive it. And it's the same with Mercury. Mercury just went direct. He's at 13 degrees Sagittarius. He's squaring Neptune today, and he is in trine to the moon. So moon energy is mom, is home, family, but it's wanting to get out, take action. So if you're around family and they're just sitting on the couch, you're going to be like, could we go do something, please, already? And it's also a connection to other cultures and travel, education. I know education is on my mind right now with my daughter and what's going on with her school. So that's kind of a quick rundown. Pluto is in sextile to Mars and Jupiter, which is really welcome and wonderful. I think that actually will give it a little more sense of groundedness because Jupiter is expansive and optimistic, and in Scorpio can be emotional and moody. But what Jupiter can do, especially with Mars coming up, is it can bring energy and drive and buoyancy to some of that watery energy. So maybe all the Saturn that was there a few years ago and brought us down and made us a little bit moody. And also some of the quicker moving planets went through Scorpio earlier between August and September. That kind of had us really intense and emotional. Now Pluto, the ruler, is in positive aspect to the sign of Scorpio and optimistic. It's a little bit more we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel in our moody, emotional life, and more groundedness, more connection, and acknowledgement of the emotions. So it's not going to be quite as bad. I think we're getting more clear, especially Pluto and Capricorn now is direct. It's getting more clarity around career and purpose and what we truly want to do, while Jupiter's expanding us and wanting us to go look deeper in Scorpio. It wants us to expand and be more optimistic. Things we might have been a little bit. This is what's going on. Scorpio hides things out of fear and wanting to control and not understanding. They want to understand, they want to control, and they want to understand the value. Jupiter is very, I kind of think flippant, but it isn't as bogged down in the details and the importance and the seriousness of everything. So when Jupiter goes in, he's like, man, this is just really not my place, not my thing. I want to tell the truth. I want to bring it out. So that's what he's doing. And you can tell when Jupiter went into Scorpio, everything came out in the light. So all the sex stuff, which Scorpio rules. Scorpio rules the hidden, the covert stuff and getting to the bottom of stuff. And Jupiter rules bringing it out into the open, into the light, and understanding it and taking the action to bring it out. So that's what's going on. But Pluto is now saying, okay, we know this, so what are we going to do about it? So in the new year, with all this energy coming in midnight, we're going to have a lot around what are we going to do to protect women. What are the rules? What is the structure? That's what Capricorn's going to do. Venus is at 8 degrees on midnight, the ingress of the new year. Saturn's at 1 degree Capricorn. Venus is at 1 degree Capricorn. We've got Sun at 10 and Pluto at 18, which I find really interesting. I mean, I like numerology too, but if you're looking at it like I am, 1, 8, 10, 18. So we have 1, 01, 08, which is 9, and then 10 and 18, which is 10. When you break it down in numbers, 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. So we have a lot of 8s and 10s. What does that mean? 8 is the number of money. 1 is newness and change and shift into something new. So we are absolutely this year going to experience a change in currency and monetary funds, in the stock market, in how we look at money, how we grow our money, the structure of it, the banking. I mean, all of it is going to be affected this year. We have on the positive, not fearful side is Mars and Jupiter conjunct. They're joining at the beginning of the year. And again, Scorpio, they're in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is about value of self to others. So how do people value you? Where's that coming from? What value are you adding to the collective, to others? It is Jupiter in Scorpio, so that means that it's going to be a connection to other markets, other people, and definitely bringing in the idea that we are not alone. That's Uranus into Taurus opposing Jupiter in Scorpio this summer. So it's going to be not just us, it's how we're all interconnected in the world. And interestingly, Uranus is going into Taurus, and that means that unexpected technical technology inventions around money, currency, fiscal connection, all of this, it's just very much material world, money systems, all that. And technology coming in, bringing invention, unexpected things, and really channeled energy. Which brings me around to why I'm speaking so fast. 2 reasons. One, once I get speaking about astrology, information just comes very fast for me. And 2, we have a lot of territory to cover and not a lot of time to do it. So please do give me a little slide and be patient, because you can listen to this again in archive if you've missed anything. If you're trying to take notes, it'll be there. So don't worry. We've got backup means, and I also put it out on YouTube under Artful Shelley. If you type, I think you type in Artful Shelley, it should come up, because everything's assigned just a number, like a code, unless you pay extra or whatever. So anyway, blah, 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 digress. So the new year, we also have a 27-degree Gemini moon. This is really interesting politically. Donald Trump is a Gemini, and moons in Gemini mean we have two different ways of thinking about home and family life. So we've got, well, it really is. I mean, I know it's overused, and I apologize to anyone who's a Gemini listening to this, but the Jekyll and Hyde archetype can be assigned to, you know, this energy. It's really, it's probably not even just dualistic. It's probably multiplistic. We have many different energies coming in this year. Uranus, being a very significant planet of change in the middle of the year, is going to expand our awareness and trigger a lot more mental clarity. And so having the moon, which is historically very emotional and watery, in a clarity sign, or one that likes analysis more than emotion, is going to bring in energy of clarity around our emotions and around where we are with regard to mom, with regard to home. We have Saturn, of course, in Capricorn. All the planets I said, Saturn, Venus, Sun, and Pluto in Capricorn. So the last day, Moon has been opposing all the Capricorn planets. So what does that mean? It means that we are very aware going into this year of how we are in the home and the homeland, because land is Capricorn, home is the opposite sign, or the opposite ruler, which is Moon. So it's the Cancer energy in the expression of Gemini. So it will be about analysis. This is an interesting thing too. Like, of course, this is from Orlando. So I'm doing a midnight ingress of the New Year chart for Orlando, which is 20 degrees Virgo rising. You can do one for where you're at. The planets will be pretty much in the same position, maybe with the exception of any time zones that are turning later than Eastern. So 3 hours later, you're probably going to have the moon in Cancer, because the moon's moving forward, and as time progresses, obviously New Year is different in California than it is in Florida. So that, and also Hawaii, they'll have a Cancer moon this year. So it's going to be a different energy. I find it really interesting that the New Year will shift where the moon is for different time zones, different peoples. So look for that energy. It's going to be, I would say probably there's going to be a differentiation between sides of America, obviously, because you're going to have one side being much more about what's going on here, and the other side wanting to see multiple ways and not being so emotional and what is the word? Sentimental. But it's going to be much more analytical. So I would say Eastern U.S., if you live there, you're going to be much more analytical. Even if you go to the Western U.S. sometime in the year, you're probably going to think, wow, these people are in a much different set. We're going to be much more mind, and they're going to be much more emotion. So anyway, we've got coming in, and again, everything in Capricorn is going to strongly affect us this year. And now I'm going to get to month here real quick, because the time flies so fast. Oh my gosh. And let me real quick too, I'm going to pop over to the chat room, and I'm going to open the chat room for anybody who wants to go in there. So it's launching now. I forgot to do that because I was so into getting all the information before the show. But okay, so January, we're going to have Uranus go direct January 2nd. It could be late. I've got a table that just goes the whole day right now. So the 2nd to the 3rd, Uranus goes direct. Mercury goes into Capricorn on the 11th, which is a Thursday. So that will be a really strong shift around mentality, because currently we've got Mercury in Sagittarius. Again, more optimistic. What can we do? Have to be active. Our minds are active. We want to be physically active. I would say and recommend that if you're going to do something that you want to last, wait till Uranus goes direct, because it's going to change, which means if you start it on January 1st, that, hey, New Year's resolution, you're going to change your mind in 2 or 3 days. So I would recommend waiting until Uranus goes direct until the end of the first week. So Monday is New Year's Day. Go on Wednesday or Thursday after it goes direct to say, hey, now is my time, because then you won't have that shift. Let's see what we got. We've got Venus in Aquarius. on the 19th. And so I had a little note. I can't understand what I wrote here. So anyway, Venus goes into Aquarius on the 19th of January, and the Sun goes in on the 20th. The two are going into Aquarius immediately also. And that means that's going to bring in more of that inventive nature, detachment. It is a strong energy of detachment. Aquarius is opposite Leo. Leo is connectedness, one-on-one. Aquarius is we are all part of the whole and very concerned for social issues, but not as concerned with emotion and much more intellectual and analytical. So the combination of Uranus, which rules Aquarius, and Taurus, it's going to be an earth-air year. We moved out of the fire energy, and now we're going to be much more grounded and thoughtful and want to clear clutter, which is next week's. Well, we'll touch on it next week. We're going to also get over more of this. So anyway, Aquarius, clear thing, and Venus in Aquarius is I am not attached to the emotional side of things. I am much more analytical, and now I'm going to express myself in a very thoughtful, clear way and clear the clutter. So Mars goes into Sagittarius on the 27th of January. So people who have kind of who late year, early year birthdays, December, January, February, are going to feel this energy really strongly. It's always your time of year anyway. But you have Mercury, Venus, Sun, and Mars all in the signs, the late year, early year signs. So it's going to be, I think, in some terms, more optimistic this coming year if you are in touch with your own drive and aware of a more spiritual, expansive way of looking at things, because that's coming in. At the same time, we are very grounded and pragmatic and practical, so it's going to be a year of analysis and pragmatism. So going into February, we have Venus. This is a very interesting month. It's a very receptive month because Pisces is going to be triggered. So we have Venus going into Pisces on the 11th, Mercury into Pisces on the 18th, which is a Sunday, and then we have Sun going into Pisces on Monday the 19th. So in the course of those days, so 19th through the 11th through the 19th, which is like 8 days, we have three quicker moving planets all going into Pisces. And right at the beginning of the month, we're going to have Venus and Mars, or feminine, masculine, I wrote the symbols down, but really men and women, issues coming to the fore. We have receptivity, which is feminine, Neptune, Piscean, at odds with Mars and Sagittarius, which moves in on the 27th of January. We're going to have that conflicting throughout the month as Venus and the Sun probably into March, because the Sun won't get to late degrees where it'll meet up squaring until early March. But we're having Pisces, Sagittarius square. So really there are deeper, wise issues that are coming out of our lives in February, where we're connected to the sage, we're connected to the esoteric and psychic ability and dreamy qualities. February is going to be a month where normally February would be much more about fast thinking, the Aquarian energy, with the Pisces energy coming in later in the month, of course, is always when we feel the Pisces energy. That's going to be much more dreamy. We're going to be less inclined to follow through with any kind of physical solutions from the beginning of the year. So just know that February, I think probably mostly when we get to February, all that Pisces energy really derails the determination we have. So, yeah, probably December is a much better month to set resolutions overall year to year because of the Capricorn energy. It'll be much more stable. But that will be coming up in February. Now, March, we have Mercury. This is interesting because this will be the first retrograde of Mercury in the year in March. And so on the 6th, Mercury moves into Aries. On the 10th, he the shadow period until the 23rd, and he goes retrograde at 16 degrees of Aries on the 23rd of March. The 15th, on 15th, the Sunday, he's at 4 degrees and is out of the shadow on May 3rd. So May 3rd at 16 degrees. So it's a very long segment of retrograde. We've got the 6th of March through the 3rd of May, where Mercury is going to be affecting us. So, and it's going to be in Aries, which means this is energy related to men and masculinity again. So it really is coming into an energy of shift. And what do we believe about masculinity? How are we expressing our drive? And it's about I want to say this, but I don't want to offend anyone, but it is the rulership of Aries. So it is the police. It's about bullying. It's about anything where we promote ourselves and taking action without really following through on how those actions will affect other people. It is a very singular, self-motivated energy. So there is a shift from the masculine to the feminine with the Capricorn energy, which is a feminine energy. It is coming in, and so this year, look for it to be there's going to be a balancing and a shift between the two. So it will be kind of an up and down, back and forth, and you'll see women obviously taking more power, which is already kind of happening from last year or this year. 2017 hasn't changed yet, but 2017. Moving to a new way of embracing the feminine, and it doesn't mean just women embracing femininity, it's men as well. So there is this awakening going on, and Mercury will help express that in our world in March through April. So we've got that coming in. Venus moves into Aries on the 7th, which again will punctuate this whole connectedness to the story of masculine and feminine and integration. And then it's a very quick trip because in the same month of March, Venus goes from Aries to Taurus. So she's going through the masculine and then hitting the feminine on the last day. Mars goes into Capricorn on Sunday, the 18th of March through May 15th. And then he moves in, let me see if I can find it here. March. Where's May? Because I just said he's going in. Oh, man. He's going in a couple quickly. Nope, I don't see it. So he's going into Capricorn. Oh, okay. Sorry. He's going into Capricorn, and then he goes into Aquarius in May on the 15th, 16th. So, and finally, Jupiter goes retrograde on the 9th through July 9th. At 13 degrees Scorpio, the shadow will be through the 6th of October. So the bulk of the middle of the year, Jupiter rules is the ruler of Sagittarius, so Sagittarians will feel this. And it's also in the sign of Scorpio, so if you have a Scorpio rising or any planets in Scorpio, including the sun, that will also be there. And so we're going to be really feeling that Jupiter energy through the middle of the year. Now, in April, we have Mercury going retrograde to direct on April 15th at 4 degrees. We have Saturn retrograding the 17th at 9 degrees through September 5th. So this will be a pretty big chunk of our year with Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. So that is career issues, career ideas, choices, life purpose. It will be an energy of trying for the next 2 years, actually even 3 into 2020. I have to look at that year. It's going, usually it's 2.5. I think it's going through November of 2020. So it's going to be 3 years. So yeah, all next 3 years is about our career and our life purpose. It's aligning us with what we really are here to do and shoring us up, making us feel, first off, probably initially it will bring out fears and fears of doing what we truly want to do. Is it going to be okay? Will I have the money? What's going to happen? And I'm not going to lie, it's really going to be a strong year around those ideas for everybody. So coming up with this energy in April will really start that initial going back over, okay, what can I do to make this shift? And I'm telling you, by 2020, our lives are all going to be on the path we need to be. And I've got chills as I tell you this. So many readings I've been doing lately, people have been telling me, well, I'm wanting to do this, but it's kind of like straddling 2 careers. But whatever path you are drawn to now, it may not be fully realized yet. It's in the process. So anyway, we're feeling this come, and as Saturn retrogrades, this really is the first time he'll retrograde in Capricorn for 28 years. And so we're going to be feeling this shift. Initially, we're feeling more grounded and wanting to see everything in very practical terms. As he goes retrograde, the doubt and the fear can come in and creep in. And it's going to be that way for 3 years as we develop. But every time he goes retrograde, he'll go retrograde at a further degree. So that means that initially he's retrograding in life purpose, Capricorn. Next, he'll retrograde in Taurus, which is getting the money the way you want, which is next year. And then he'll retrograde in the Virgo decan. So that'll be about the pragmatism and the healing and moving on and really getting your ducks in a row. So it's going to be a process. So I want you to know that as he retrogrades in April through September, that is what we're dealing with our careers. We're dealing with shoring it up, facing the is this good? Is it not good? Taking ownership, which is the Capricorn energy, wanting you to be the authority now in your world, in what you choose to do and what you are driven to do in this life. Also, Saturn rules the elderly, tradition. We will see, interestingly, because Chris is highly traditional, Capricorn end of the year, we're probably going to have a really solid foundation, or whatever our foundation is, will initially seem really good and there for us. The structure is there for us. Saturn in Capricorn, he's saying, hey, it's good. As he gets to later degrees, a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, we're going to start seeing that shift, because Saturn will be joining up with Pluto closer to 2020, which is going to be the change. It's going to be facing the fear of change, and it will be a time when our world is majorly changing. It is the final push towards this dawning of the age of Aquarius when Pluto goes into Aquarius. So, the two join together to really say, hey, this is your government. This is your boss. This is where you work. This is traditional world. Is this what you want? How do you want it to be? What are we going to do to change it all? Because it's coming. We are really seeing the cracks in the veneer so that we can shore it up and make it solid for the future. That's Capricorn's task. So, okay, to reiterate, on the 17th of April, Saturn retrogrades at 9 degrees Capricorn, and on the 22nd, Pluto retrogrades. So merely 5 days later, Pluto retrogrades in Capricorn. So pretty big shifts are combining this year. I'm noticing a lot of planets coming together, and changing signs are changing at the same time. So Saturn, Pluto, both in Capricorn, that's the fear time. So I'm guessing that week is going to be really big, since we have a lot of energy with Mars, and because Aries rules April. And so we're going to have some strong aggressive tendencies. There's going to be fear. We're going to probably relive some of those fears from the 50s around other countries and who has control and what are we doing against, the fear that somebody could change our world, somebody could change the homeland. That's going to come up in April really strongly. Venus in Gemini on the 25th. Again, Venus feminine, Gemini masculine and dualistic. So, flirtatious, and not necessarily following through with what is being said. So look out for issues around truthfulness in the month of April. And, of course, Sun goes into Taurus on the 20th of April. So that's going to really kick off the Taurus segment of the year and really kick off as we go into May with Uranus going in to Taurus. So May kicks off also at the end of the shadow period of Mercury on the 4th at 16 Aries. So we're going to really be able to promote ourselves. There may have been, April is a period of trying to promote but not following through. It's not happening. Whatever we're doing, it's like a time when we advertise, but it may not get to the people we need it to, and it may not bring us what we think it will. So by the time Mercury gets to direct in May, it's going to be better for us. We can actually start to promote ourselves again and really because Uranus rules entrepreneurship and then Mercury is out of that Aries retrograde, we're going to start moving closer to the Taurus energy. Mercury goes into Taurus on the 14th, and then Mars goes into Aquarius on the 15th, and Uranus goes into Taurus on the 17th. So 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, we have Mercury, Mars, Uranus changing signs between Mercury going into Taurus and Uranus going into Taurus. Uranus rules Aquarius and Mars goes into that. So it is a very significant time frame, the middle of May, also the middle of April, but the middle of May is that shift, that unexpected, the roller coaster in the stock market. This is when things are not going to be solid. Things will be shifting. Roller coaster happens. It's this one day and it's that the next. People are going to be buying and selling like crazy. And it would not surprise me if there is a significant drop in the stock market, or potentially coming up on that, a significant rise, because it's expected. Whatever you think it's going to do, it's going to do it. Then it'll do the opposite. And you'll go, what? So I'm sorry to drive that home, but that really is truly the energy coming in May. May is historically the month of Taurus, and Taurus likability and strength. It's got Uranus going into its sign. It means it's going to be learning about how not to be so expectant of the same well-trodden path. Uranus is going to start showing different paths coming off of the main worn path, and it's going probably initially to enforce that in a very strong way. I would say that is also the week, probably April, let me just look real quick, April 20th, around the 20th of April, you're going to see, because that's also when the sun changes into Taurus, you're going to see snowstorms, but you're going to see inclement weather again when Uranus goes into Taurus, because that is Earth sign, and we're going to be more aware of Earth patterns. And I know I've talked about this so much, and I don't know if I've done a whole show on Uranus and Taurus, but it seems like it. Anyway, it's going to be Earth patterns, Earth cycles. We're going to be much more aware of all that coming up in the next 8 years, and this is the initial getting our feet wet into this energy. So you will see Earth change, and I wouldn't even be surprised if there is an earthquake thrown in April with Pluto retrograding, and also in May with Uranus into an Earth sign, because that's how the Earth adapts to these changes. Okay, the 20th, Venus goes into Cancer. Venus in Cancer, she likes Cancer because she's receptive, and Cancer's receptive and nurturing. So we're going to want to be at home, and because the ingress of Uranus into Taurus is going to be, it's going to be late degree Venus in Gemini initially. So it's going to be more chaotic than it would be with an ingress in Cancer, but Venus does go into Cancer. So this is an interesting dynamic also, because progressed charts means that each day equals a year of time. So when you look at a chart, you've got the 17th Uranus in Taurus. 3 days later, Venus goes into Cancer. So 3 years after that ingress, we will see Venus move into Cancer. So 3 years, there will be that chaotic shift. 3 years puts us at 2021, and that is in alignment with a lot of shifts that's about what's going on with Saturn, Pluto conjunct, and everything there. So, man, every year it's like, hey, is it going to end this year? Are we going to get a little stability? It's not. It's not going to end probably for at least 8 years, because Pluto moving into Aquarius really kind of that whole new mindset and shift towards a more universal Earth, that we're all going to be connected as one, and we'll realize that that's what it is. But we have to go through this huge transformation. Remember, we're in a Pluto return for the U.S., and Pluto is major life change. So we as a collective in the U.S. are feeling this, and on top of it, the whole basis of this country was to bring in different ideologies and a melting pot and find a way to exist as a collective, which is the basis of this country. With Pluto in the first return, we're trying to do that again. And this time it's going to be the whole world. Last time it was a new idea for a country. This time we're moving into this collective idea for the world. So me, I see that as very positive. Okay, June, we have Mercury going into Cancer on the 13th, and also on the 14th, Venus goes into Leo, Neptune retrogrades on the 18th, Sun goes into Cancer on the 21st, and Mars retrogrades on the 26th. So there's a lot of shift in the planets with one major shift for Neptune. So again, that's going to be a very chaotic time for water. That's a time of flooding and also clarity. I think the oceans are gaining some foothold on what we do with the oceans, and I think we're going to start to see more discussion about cleaning up the oceans from all the plastics and the pollution. And Neptune through Pisces, his own sign, is mostly about that. That's what it wants to have us aware that planet Earth is not just green, but it's blue too. So June is, you know what, I don't know, April, more of that energy coming in June. It is Mercury in Cancer with home, again, home life, and then Venus in Leo. It's going to trigger more stuff. It is kind of puffing us up, but Venus is the feminine and it's not Mars. So we're going to see probably more women coming into the spotlight, saying what's on their mind and telling their stories come the middle of the year. So also look out for the hurricanes coming in with the Neptune retrograding in June. So Cancer, Leo, this is kind of the time for Cancer anyway. Cancer at the end of the month is when it begins, but Venus and Leo, so the Cancer-Leo energy can be mom and dad. It can be creativity and connectedness to family. You're going to see that in the middle of the year. And again, any of the water signs are going to feel this, and any of the fire signs will be more connected to the Venus and Leo. And if you don't know, that's the water signs are Cancer, Pisces, and I had a mind blip here. Pisces, Cancer, and why can I not think of the third one? Oh, Scorpio, thank you. And then the fire signs are Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Okay, so August. Let's get to August. Oh my gosh, where are we at? We're at 14 minutes. Let's see. We have quite a few. Well, we have 4 waiting for questions. So I tell you what, give me 3 more minutes. I'm going to fly through some of these aspects. We'll take a couple in the show and carry on next week. And I will write down every single zodiac sign for next week to give you an idea of your year ahead, because right now I'm touching on the signs, but you're probably having to infer a lot, and it's not as much like, oh, this is what my life can be like, but this is, I'm telling you the planetary aspects, and if that is your sign that I'm calling out, you will be feeling this, but not, this one isn't, it's much more, I guess, what is it, off the cuff, as opposed to, I mean, I've got all my notes, but it's more of an off-the-cuff kind of, this is what I'm seeing happening. But next week, I'll actually have time, because it's not the holidays. I'll be able to sit down and write out much more for each sun sign, which I'm sure is why most people listen to the beginning of the year show or the end of the year, whatever, the New Year's show. Okay, so August, we have Venus going into Libra on the 7th. We have Uranus going retrograde the same day, another significant day, because Venus goes into an air sign and an air planet in an earth sign retrogrades. So that's going to be, I would say, storms and tornadoes are likely at that time. And then we have, let's see, I'm just trying to read this ephemeris here. Mercury goes direct on the 19th, and he is in Leo, so he retrogrades on the 26th of July. Did I miss July? Darn it. I think I missed July. Okay, I'm sorry. So July the 7th, Mercury's in a shadow in Leo. The 10th, Venus goes into Virgo. So Virgos will feel a little bit more at ease come July. And also the same day, Jupiter goes direct on 13th in Scorpio. And so those 2 planets together, Venus and Jupiter, will be more inclined to bring in energy from foreign affairs, foreign people, travel, and more likely to have positive outcomes from travel if you choose to go then, because Venus is about desires. And then Virgo is, it could probably be a work trip because of the Virgo connection if you go from the 10th, anywhere 10th on. And it's going to be a positive thing. It'll be good stuff coming in for you. And you'll probably even have some really good romantic opportunities around July as well, with Jupiter going direct in Scorpio. Then the Sun goes into Leo on the 23rd. And I find it interesting that we're going to have the Sun in Leo, and let me see, about weeks after it goes in, so on the 23rd, so that brings it into August. We're going to have a square between Jupiter and the Sun, which will be significant. And let's see, so let me find out where that is. Yeah, it'll be on the 7th of August. So that'll be, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it now. 7th of August, there's a square between the Sun and Jupiter. Venus goes in Libra and Uranus goes retrograde, so that's a significant day. I didn't get to write that down, but I'm writing it down now, so I remember it, because that will be a very intense day for weather, for people, for information coming out. Scorpio is about the truth, seeking out the truth. Leo is about telling the story and making the bigger picture. It can be hyperbolic. So having the energy of Sun and Leo squaring Jupiter in Scorpio, that is about fraudulent things coming out. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it has to do with politics, or, which is Scorpio, or the monetary systems, because again, we have Leo is going to be about making it seem rosier than it is, and Scorpio is about being truthful or just. It's about justice for the people, and having those two planets square and then coming with Venus into Libra, that will be interesting, because Venus in Libra doesn't want to upset the apple cart, but Uranus retrograding most definitely will. So, and also Libra and Taurus, which is Uranus' sign, those two planets are in conjunct. And so if the markets manage to make it through May, August will be the next day to notice, August 7th, because of that inconjunct going on. So, okay, let's get on with that. So, retrograde in Leo, having to go back over our connected to people, our friendships. It may be a time of stress for friendships, especially with Venus and Libra. It's about partners and friends in August. Then Mercury goes direct on the 19th, and that's again in Leo, and is in the shadow until roughly the 2nd of September. And Sun goes into Virgo on the 23rd. Mars is retrograde and goes direct on the 27th in Aquarius. Well, it's retrograde in Aquarius. I don't know if I said that. I probably did, but it's all flying so fast. It goes retrograde in June on the 26th. And he goes back direct August 26th. And so it's in Capricorn. He gets all the way back into Capricorn, late degrees. So Mars in late degrees Capricorn is going to bring up government issues, taxes, elderly. So if you have elder family members, definitely be checking in with them over the course of the summer. There may be transition energy coming into the chart in August with the end degrees of Mars in Capricorn. It is the ending of old stories and tradition. So we'll have Mars in Capricorn, the last degrees, until after direct, like I said, the 26th, and then he'll go back in on the 11th of September into Aquarius, again connecting to Uranus in that Earth energy. That's another one of the stories, Earth and air connecting this year. Venus goes into Scorpio on the 9th of December, and Mercury goes into Scorpio on the 6th. So, or excuse me, Virgo. Mercury goes into Virgo the 6th. Venus on the 9th goes into Scorpio, and then Uranus, I'm translating in my mind, I'm sorry, Mars into Aquarius on the 11th. So 3 really quick shifts of the faster moving interpersonal planets, and they're going into signs that actually square each other. Aquarius and Scorpio square each other, so we will see Venus and Mars squaring each other in September. So there is going to be a definite battle of the the gods at that time between the sexes. And I'm guessing politically there's going to be like, oh, it's not that bad. Mars and Aquarius, detachment, not getting it. And then Venus and Scorpio digging her heels in and being very stubborn. Both energies are going to be extremely stubborn, and they're going to be facing off. Aquarius, Mars and Aquarius can be the social aspect, and Venus and Scorpio is what's hidden. And they're both connected to government in some capacity. Aquarius rules the people, so the masses, and Scorpio rules politics. We have Saturn going direct on the 6th of September and will be in the shadow period of her movement until December 11th. And I'm not going to make it through all of this week, but I'm going to just blast through what planets are where, and then we'll talk more next week because there's just so much. It's a whole year. Mercury's flying through. So in September, Mercury goes into Virgo for literally only 2.5 weeks, and then he's in Libra. So it's a very short time in Virgo. And then he's in Libra on the 22nd. Sun goes into Libra on the 23rd. So things can be solved at that time. That's the solution coming for you in late September. And that is also partnering. Where's the partnering coming from? That's wanting to keep the peace. We go into October. Saturn's still in Capricorn. He's direct now at 3 degrees. We have Mercury going into Scorpio on the 10th. Again, quick through the signs, only just about 3 weeks, just over 2.5 actually, in Libra. And he's really flying at the end of the year. He goes 2.5 weeks in Virgo, 2.5 weeks in Libra, 2.5 weeks in Scorpio from the 9th through the 30th, and then he's in Sagittarius the last of October. Sun goes into Scorpio the 23rd, so we're going to have that Scorpio-Sagittarius energy. Again, Scorpio Mercury will be squaring Mars, so there will be a war of words, probably. Let me just see. So technology and feelings. So I'm guessing Mercury and Scorpio, that's technological as well, and that probably is going to be a big time for a potential power outage come October, because you have strong Aquarius Mercury opposition with signs. So I'm just letting you know. And there's an opposition also between Uranus and Taurus and Mercury and Scorpio. They're opposing, and then Mars is right in the middle, kind of putting his hands up, holding them each apart from each other. Okay, so we're gonna see this T-square going on with the planets. So there's definitely a battle between ideology and emotion come October. November, Mercury is in Sagittarius in the shadow period. He goes retrograde for the 3rd time, I believe it was, on the 17th of November. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius on the 9th. So again, really quick trip. 1 year we have to understand Jupiter and Scorpio, and then he's in his own sign. So by November of this coming year, we're going to be like, thank goodness, I feel a little bit optimistic finally. Of course, we also have that backed up by Sun in Sagittarius on the 22nd, so it's going to be more optimistic in November. Education, we're going to be moving in. I personally have a daughter going into her final year of school next year, so that's going to be a really positive energy. Saturn in the shadow, or the end of the shadow period still, and then Uranus will be in Aries at late degrees. He moves retrograde into Aries on the 7th of November. So he was in Taurus. He initiates in Taurus May 15th, and then he gets back into Aries on the 7th of November, and he will be back in Aries until 2019, the 5th of March 2019. So he's going to spend 4 months Aries again, wrapping up some of those old stories. We will see it. We're seeing it the first 4 months of this year, and we'll see it the first 4 months of next year, because he's going to go back over those degrees. And let's see. I've got one more date grouping to tell you. Between the 12th of December and January 23rd, those dates next year, 2018, December 12th, 2018 through January 23rd of 2019, that's the time to solidify what you want to have happen, because that's only a single pass over those degrees of Saturn in Capricorn. And that is a tremendous time for digging in, making something real, making something solid. If you're getting married, get married, because it means This is a done deal. We're not going to have to deal with it for another 30 years. The planet Saturn will not go over those degrees again for 30 years. Of course, while he's in Capricorn, he will be retrograding, but he won't be going over those degrees. So that's a solid make it happen. Okay. I've got 5 minutes. I'll take 10. We'll get some calls. I'll go into the individual sun signs next show. And thank you for listening, but let's take our call here. And I forgot my break, but hey, that's okay. Welcome to the show, 404. How are you?
Hey, good morning. It's Lolita. How are you?
Hi, Lolita. I'm good. How was your holiday?
Oh, absolutely great. We just hung around and it kind of worked, but, you know, we did it a little bit different. We went to the movies and had Christmas.
Oh, fun.
We haven't started out. We had Chinese food and then
oh, there you go.
just did fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. I did the movies, too. Did you see Star Wars?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. How good was that or what?
Yeah, it was good. I like Star Wars. First year it was out at 77, I think. I've been watching it, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you?
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Love the fact that you validated the currency because I do know that that's happening in January 1st. It's such a pivotal day, especially with the full moon. And you couldn't ask for a better way to start off 2018 with the full moon in that sign.
Oh, my gosh.
Cancer. So love it. Love it, love
Thank
it, love
you
it.
for pointing that out. I missed that one.
No, I've been reading and I'm just so excited. I know we just had a Saturn in Capricorn. I was wondering what house is that affecting me at this current moment?
Your Scorpio, which is the 8th house, it is the end degrees. You only have 4 degrees before it goes into your 9th house. So it shifted in death and rebirth, the Plutonic area, made life changes around partnership, how people see you, how you validate yourself and career, and partnering with others. So, yeah, that's where it is.
And that will be in there for the next 3 years, or?
No, it's only there, like I said, it only goes 3 degrees and then it's out of there. So 4 degrees in 3 minutes and it'll be gone, which is the 29th of January. It moves into your 9th house. And that means that you're probably going to be starting some either teaching, which I would recommend, or learning, but you're going to do some kind of expanded educational or spiritual development come the end of January.
Okay, I can see that happen. I can see that happening as long as I see the currency coming into play and stuff like that. So, okay, that makes sense because I do feel like we're in a new beginning, especially with my store and everything.
Yeah, and it's in your 12th house, that Uranus in Taurus. All the Taurus initiating energy is your 12th house. So you're really picking up the psychic connectedness to it. And pay attention to your dreams. I have to tell you real quick, I had an amazing dream last night I'm very empathic, so people around me, I pick up the emotions all the time. And I've only in the last couple of years realized just how significant it is in my life. And I dreamt this morning of being in my home with all this energy and putting a box, an energetic box around me. It was almost tangible to me, like nobody could penetrate this box that I've put around myself. So it is like that. If you're really empathic this year, it's about the pragmatism of things. So think of more structural things to help protect you from other people's energy. And it was literally a very prophetic dream for me because that helped me so much. I mean, like, I have dreams, but man, that dream, it's like I am doing that because it'll clear my energy field, and you might want to do that too.
Okay. Yep, I do dream a lot, so I dream heavily.
Yeah, pay attention to them because you're going to be getting a lot of stuff on the markets, and Uranus is at 24 Aries for you right now, but you're going to be picking up all that energy in your 12th and in your dreams, so you know what's happening before it happens. So that's a really good hint for how to deal with it. Again, cryptocurrency, it's going to have its roller coaster ride, but I think it's going to be stabilized, and it will be our future. I'm convinced. So.
Yes, I'm actually studying that, so it's ironic that you're stating that, and I do believe that currency monetarily is going to change for the whole global, reshifting the value of our dollar is going to shift.
Yeah,
all right.
I know. I'll talk more about that over the course of this year because I've been researching it myself. My son, he's bought some. I wanted to buy some, but I really do believe that the Uranus changing direction, I think that probably will give me an opportunity buy some cryptocurrency at reduced rates from what it just shot up to the last, with all the Saturn and Sagittarius. That's like optimism. Oh, crap. Boom. I'm down,
Yep.
2,000 in one day. That was Saturn going into Capricorn. And I'm like, I know, people, look at this. I'm not kidding you. This means something. And I'm going to give you another recommendation. Pay attention. There's a YouTuber named Dutch Since, DutchSinc. Amazing earthquake seeker, and he's so interesting to listen to. Listen to his YouTube channel because he I think he does astrology, but he's predictive and he knows how to track them. And I mean, start emailing him more saying, listen, this is an exact alignment with when planets shift, because all of the earthquake stuff and volcanoes that are coming out at the end of this month. My brain's already in 2018. End of this month, so last week, and it's all coordinated. It matters. It connects. So anyway, that's my little tip. But have a
awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Okay, one more reading because that's all we have time for today. 561. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Who is this?
This is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. I have quite a few people with 561 area codes. So I'm sorry I don't recognize your voice, but I've got your chart right here. What can I do for you?
I just whatever. I know you're out of time. Whatever you throw at me.
Yeah, I got a little bit. What I want to throw at you? Okay, well, you've got a lot going on. Let me double check my numbers because you've got a lot of return. You have Jupiter right on your Mars, which is fortune and home and family. I will say, with the exception of one female in your home, you're starting to either get or recognize that you need more connectedness and recognition for your value within the home life, because you've got Mars Jupiter conjunct on your Mars and your Venus. But Vesta, which is a little bit of a burr in the saddle, is coming up on your Venus. And so there's a female in either a sister or a mother figure or somebody, a female, in your home that's kind of triggering a little upset, but it is going to get better. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a
my daughter.
popping
oh
the
my
pimple.
gosh.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Oh.
But it's my daughter.
Okay.
Horrible.
She's giving you a hard time?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Aw. Sorry to hear it. Well, it's going to get better. Vesta, let me see if I can find a Vesta in my ephemeris. I don't know if I have Vesta. Yeah, I don't have any Vestas. My planner, my yearly planner has the Vesta, and I don't have that here. So I think it's about a month, and it's the end degree. So I think you have probably 2 to 3 weeks before Vesta gets into Sagittarius, and then it will be more about friendships and stuff for her, and not as much about you. And it's probably right now you're feeling a little frustrated when it goes into Sagittarius, which look for a shift in her personality around, I just want to go be free. When she wants to be free, and maybe that's now, but right now it's more a battle over emotions and drama. There's black and white thinking going on with Vesta and Scorpio. When it gets to Sagittarius, she might be a little more mouthy, and she'll want to be more free. Those two things combined, you'll know Vesta's and Sagittarius. But it will change. It's only 7 degrees before it goes into the friends, and then she's going to have friend drama, and it won't be as much about family. So, yeah. And for you, all this, I'm going to tell you where your Earth energy is, because that's where it's going to affect you. You've got Virgo. Not a lot of planet energy until September going into Virgo, but that's your house of money. So you can be frugal. And then all the Capricorn energy, it starts out in your house of children and romance and creativity, and then it goes into work. So you are coming up on the next couple of years, probably, I want to say, let me just look real quick, when it gets to the 14s or the teens. Yeah, it's going to be 2019, really. The end of this coming year, you'll start to feel a shift in not wanting to do what you do and want to really move on and go somewhere else. And you've probably already had a tinge of that with Pluto hitting you in the house of work, but Saturn's going to make it real. And in 2019, you're really going to shift what you do for work. And you'll be thinking about it now, but it's going to really manifest come 2019. Okay?
Okay.
And your midheaven, your midheaven, so your career is also, it's really starting to shift because your house of work gets affected the end of the year, and creativity is important for you now. And craft, I want to say crafting, having Capricorn in that, like knitting, more traditional types of crafting, so knitting, needlepoint, things like that would be good for you. And then the midheaven is Taurus, and you have your moon at the midheaven, so Uranus is going to hit your midheaven this year, and that's career and spotlight. And so you're probably, I would say you might even be able to invent something you could sell on the internet and make a good amount of money, but that's coming.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
I hope that helps. Is that what you wanted to know?
It did. It helped,
okay.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Well, it's good talking to you. Thank you so much for calling, and we'll talk to you in 2018.
All righty. Thanks.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
And that's our show for today. Come back next week. We'll talk more about the coming year and the sun signs. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.